What is the most annoying card people play to try to win an argument with you? As soon as they realize they won't win an argument, they bring up something I did wrong in the past that has nothing to do with what's being discussed. At that point it's not about winning the argument at hand. It's about just winning something because they can't handle being wrong. That annoys me. Edit. You guys managed to break my inbox in this thread. Last 100 replies doesn't even show up in the comments and can't be replied to. Lol. I see you've met my mother. We've all met your mother. Saying you should do your research as if it's a winning argument when they obviously don't have a clue what they're talking about. When someone says do your research, I hear, watch the same YouTube videos I did. Research for me means googling something like do vaccines cause autism. Research for them means googling something like vaccines cause autism. Shifting the goalposts to a new argument without acknowledging that's what they're doing. We can take up a new argument once the first one's been settled. Edit. Thanks for the smiles. By the way, colon. But if they don't shift it they may lose the fierce battle and come away wiser. Can't have that. Because admitting you are wrong or made a mistake can make you look foolish. You forgot that little dot at the end of your last sentence. Therefore, your argument is invalid. Just completely denying what they were very obviously doing just a second ago. I went to a festival and there was a dog that was running around in a party tent. The dog belonged to the owners and was very friendly. The dog had a VIP tag around his neck and some dude tried discreetly taking it off by petting the dog and trying to work the VIP tag off his neck. I saw him and told him to cut it out and he denied he was doing it. I just ducking saw you. Are you a 5-year-old that was caught with a cookie in your hand and crumbs on your face? Welcome to teaching. Stop talking. I wasn't talking. Oh, it must have been the puppeteer with his hand up your ass that caused your mouth to be moving and sound coming out from it. Barefaced lying when caught red-handed. AKA the shaggy defense. Trying to play mind reader. I'm sorry, but you don't know jack shit about my thoughts. Guilt tripping me. It doesn't work. Just duck off. As soon as people start trying to guilt me, it doesn't work and it makes me immediately pissed off. Guilt tripping is my least favorite one because it always works on me and I don't notice until it's too late. If I complain about a minor thing like someone leaving the lights on, they tend to go well at least I'm not getting upset over lights. There are bigger things to worry about like yes true but can you turn the lights off and stop acting like you are superior because apparently don't complain about minor things ever in your life? Call it out. Like what? World hunger? Exactly. So world hunger really worries you? Yes. You're a great humanitarian. Turn the ducking lights off. I prefer to say let's then establish who is the most miserable person in the world. And after that I expect to never hear you complain about anything ever again because you aren't them. Well that's just your opinion. You have yours I have mine. No Cletus. Peeing in the fuel tank won't work as emergency fuel and that's a fact not an opinion. Seriously. How did that start? I had a discussion with a guy about frame rates in video games and he told me just what you said. Well peeing in the fuel tank definitely won't help your frame rates. Editing a class they took once 3 years ago. Jesus Christ. This one is infuriatingly accurate. You took Psych 101 4 years ago. Shut the duck up. You aren't reading me. I'm not projecting. You aren't a goddamn mind reader. You're a pretentious dunt who's trying to win this argument by quoting a class you probably failed in freshman year because you have no other grounds to stand on. But they also watched a 5-minute video on YouTube about micro-expressions in addition to that Psych 101 course. So clearly everything you say to disagree with their convoluted analysis of your personality must be a lie. Also, everyone around them is a bona fide narcissist. I don't know what to call it but the how dare you insinuate I did something wrong despite all the clear evidence showing I did something. I'm a literal angel who cannot do anything wrong so how dare you even suggest I could possibly do anything bad. I'm not the bad guy here. You're the bad guy for even thinking anything wrong of me. I am incapable of doing anything bad, and for you to suggest otherwise shows how much of an abusive a-hole you really are. Whatever card you call that. The perfect angel card or something, I guess. Think that's called the narcissist card. Narcissists are weird. It especially gets weird when they think everyone else is a narcissist. Finding the exception that proves the rule. You say something like iPhones are made in China and they scour the internet for some source that one particular model was made in Taiwan or something. As if that somehow invalidates your entire argument. I see this a lot. It's like Redditors don't understand the concept of speaking generally. People avoid fire because they don't want to get burned. Excuse me, but look at this picture of somebody self-immolating. Okay. But you know what I meant. I don't avoid fire. I use it to heat my home and cook food. Therefore you are wrong and you should feel bad. The mom card. Doesn't matter if you have superior logic. Mom always wins the argument because she said so. I'm the parent. I'm your mother. I raised you. Okay. And? You're still wrong. Steam games are viruses, son. Always want to be right. Double quote. Sure honey. You're definitely 100% right like always. The irony about this is that 100% of the time, it's the person saying this that always wants to be right. It's because they're trying to get in the last word. And anything you say will only help them. You either argue and prove them right or you let them be right for once. Like if someone says you always argue. It's playing a game of heads I win. Tails you lose. The straw man. Basically they grossly misinterpret your point. Transform it into a weaker point. And proceed to defeat the weaker point while claiming they defeated the original point. It's complete intellectual cowardice. So you're saying I am literally made of straw? That is utterly ridiculous. If I was made of straw, how could I be typing this? I'm embarrassed for you. Well played. Think of the children. Exactly my point. Or, but what about pedophiles? And what about African warlords? To be fair, pedophiles are always thinking of the children. Say what you will about pedophiles. At least they drive slowly through school zones. My relative is a. I know what I'm talking about. Absolutely not. Coworker was pissing brown and had severe back pain. Another coworker was saying it was no big deal and that he was just dehydrated. I was trying to get him to go to the ER. After a day of nagging he didn't come to find out he was going into renal failure. He had worked out so hard the day before that the proteins breaking down in his muscles were clogging his kidneys and killing him. Told her to keep her mouth shut unless she knows what she's talking about. Well, my brother's an army medic. What's worse is that the medic would know that was a sign of renal failure. Apparently it happens all the time during boot camp. Anyone military care to confirm? Bringing up something from your past that is totally irrelevant to the argument. Dad? Seriously though? Not even with me. I have the luxury of being forced to overhear a lot of screaming matches. And he pulls crap out of nowhere from a long time ago. But good lord. If my mom ever dares to try the same to him. He screams foul. He literally says we're not talking about then. We're talking about now. Then why do you always duck and do it, you hypocritical moron? Hey, I hate my dad. Hi. My grandma on Facebook. According to the internet. As if it was some singular monolithic entity. It is. Everyone else on the internet is a bot, part of the all-encompassing hive mind. You are alone. I used to be human, save yourself. Bad bot. Anyway. You're young, I don't expect you to understand. My older brothers and sister use this shit all the time. Drives me crazy. Personal attacks. Especially online. People know no limits. Duck you. That point is invalid because you are an absolute donghead. Username checks out. I don't know what the term would be. When you finish a statement, they turn and laugh lightly. And say whatever. I know that means I win. But it goddamn sure doesn't feel like it. Dismissive. If you want to watch somebody explode, say, I'm glad you agree I'm right after they do that. Guy I knew would say, "Yeah. Well, you don't know grits from granola." Then he'd walk away with a smile of self-satisfaction, completely dismissing all that had been discussed. I would laugh my ass off if someone said that to me. I really want to believe he was just trolling. It is something my dad would do. He wouldn't be trolling. I had an ex that would immediately go to, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm such a duck up. And you hate me." Anytime I brought up something I was unhappy with in our relationship, which made it impossible for me to bring up anything I was unhappy with. Hey, I'm not happy that I do the cooking every single night. Oh well, I'm sorry, I'm such a stupid idiot who doesn't know how to make anything. I hate myself. Then I had to console her and keep cooking every night. Totally unfair. Edit. Welp. This really hit home with a lot of people, I guess. Thanks all for sharing. It was great reading the many replies. I'm disabling the replies being sent to my inbox so my phone doesn't keep blowing up. But I'll probably read everything when I'm back at work tomorrow. Yep. And then they have the audacity to wonder loudly why nobody will be honest and direct with them. Aka, my old roommate, would flip out if I was ever honest with her. So I stopped. She would get mad at me for not sharing my feelings and telling other people behind her back that I didn't like living with her. This thread is making me mad just reading it. You probably don't understand because you don't have kids. Walks away in smug triumph. You laughed, so you must not be telling the truth. No. Mom and Dad. When you stare at me with your eyebrows raised like that, you look funny. Talking louder makes you right. Correct. I read that in Plankton's voice without even thinking about it. Pot agreed to try to summon 2 more counter arguments when their other ones have been proven wrong. But what does Pot agreed do? Lets me draw 2 cards from my deck. Best comment of the day. My advanced math teacher sometimes says that she'll have the last word when the students try to defend themselves, when she accuses them of doing something they didn't by literally saying word over them. She doesn't do this to me, since I stay out of it, but she accuses 2 students of talking to each other when they should be doing work. One was asking the other for help on a problem, while the teacher was helping another person, and it has gotten to the point where one would just breathe, and the other would chuckle, and both would get sent to the assistant principal. This happens almost every day, and she's also the kind of person who says she'll treat you with respect if you treat her with respect, but actually means treat her with authority, and she'll treat you like a person